What's going on, good people? How we doing? The Giants did it again. They did it again. Before we get started, man, let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. I know last night we had issues with the visual. That's the StreamYard thing they got going on. I took that feature off, so we should be good to go. But let me know if I'm good in the comment section. Thumbs up. Or, just saying that I'm good in the chat. Shout out to the 54 people already in the building. Make sure you hit the like button. It'll let the algorithm know that we in the building. And the algorithm will let other Giants fans know that we are in the building. Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows
Big Dash knows what?
New York Giants football. Let's go. This is perfect right here. This is the perfect way to start. Xavier Anderson. All I can do is laugh. As you can see, I'm not the normal fiery person that I am after losses, man. They have pretty much beat the competition out of me. This game from jump was just weird. I got some talking points. I got some notes from some game notes and stuff that I want to talk about. But before I get into the notes, this game just felt weird the entire time, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what Kafka's plan was. I don't know if he just operated out of a place of fear because he's scared of Brian Flores' defense. But it was just all bad from jump. Let me go ahead and get right to let's get right to the talking points. Again, actually, let me be respectful. Let me shout out some of the people that are already in the building. All right, shout out to Got 90s Aura says they have to protect these quarterbacks, especially Dart, who has had multiple concussions, in quotes, though. Just not true, and they should be ashamed for lying. What's up, Dash? Like and subscribe. That's a fact. Like and subscribe. Yeah, some of those calls today, man, some of those roughing the passer calls, pretty egregious. Pretty egregious. JB Bronx is in the building, said, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hurry up. That's what the Giants should have been doing. Hurry up offense, but no. Still running the ball in the fourth quarter, down 3 with 2 minutes left in the game. That's I think that Mike Kafka has officially conceded on the season as well. He knows that his chances of getting a job as a head coach with the New York Giants is over, and it looked that way today. Shout out to OKC Donald in the building. What's going on? Husky John with the line just said, come on, just start it. Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Stacy says, what's up, Dash? Don't even make sense to win next week. It doesn't. Go ahead and secure the first overall pick now. You got the Raiders. We know for a fact it didn't even seem to me like either one of these teams really wanted to win this game. But the Giants definitely they definitely wanted the loss more. That interception from Holland getting called back because Abdul Carter was offsides, it just lets you know for a fact what was going to happen today. You just knew it. That was the play that did it for me in the what was that, the second quarter? A 100-yard interception from Javon Holland, the play that we've been waiting for these guys to make, especially for Javon Holland. Just think about it. You got Polson Adebo, who got an interception today. We've been waiting for these guys to make plays. And Javon Holland has a 100-yard interception in this game. And it didn't count. Like, again, the play was made. Obviously, it was an offside. So regardless, Javon Holland made that type of play. He ran it all the way into the end zone. It just didn't count, but he did make the play. But that's what we've been waiting for all season long from these guys. You get it today, and again, 16-13 loss to the Vikings. When you knock out J.J. McCarthy, so there's no J.J. McCarthy. They got issues, no starting center. The New York Giants lose Andrew Thomas. Like, we lose our center as well. And we can't do anything. So very first note I want to say, you see it listed here. Kafka is awful. R for run. Why were we trying to run the ball so much? I understand in the beginning of the game, 3 straight runs. Tyrone Tracy was successful. I think he had like 30 yards on the first 2 runs, and then he got stuff on the second one. But that was only first down on the third play of the game. But then all of a sudden, they just kept running the ball, and then every time Jackson Dart would drop back, either nobody was open, or the pass was bad, or it was too much pressure. and he was getting sacked. And he was getting sacked. I'm gonna keep going through these some of these comments before we get going. Edward says, "Ooh, another stinker. Still have that first pick. Yeah, that's a fact. We still got the first overall pick though." St. Mickey says, "Super Tank Bowl next week. I'm calling it the Toilet Bowl. It's absolutely the Toilet Bowl next week against the Raiders. The battle of who wants it's almost like the battle of hot potato between the Giants and the Raiders. Nobody wants to W. Nobody wants to win next week between the Raiders and the New York Giants. A game of hot potato. Nobody wants to win. We'll see who wants it more. Who wants the draft pick more, I should say. It's probably going to be an embarrassing game next week. You know what? As a matter of fact, it's either going to be an absolutely embarrassing game for both teams, or the New York Giants going to mess around and win and lose our chances at the first overall pick, man. Again, I never root for losses. I always want the New York Giants to win. But as you can see, I'm not upset with the loss today. Pretty much because I had 3 quarters to pretty much, get ready for this loss. The way that Mike Kafka was calling plays today, the way that this offense looked, you got Theo Johnson dropping passes, you got Darius Slayton dropping passes, you got short passes to Wan'Dale Robinson. Like we look like we need a lot of help. We look like we deserve the first overall pick, and I really do mean that. OKC Donald says Giants not even tanking, they just bad. Now that's a fact. This is not a tank. Edward, this is not a tank. We're just this bad. We're just as bad. Mike Kafka woke up this morning and he was happy with the game plan that he had. He was working on this game plan all week. This is a product of a coaching staff, an NFL coaching staff of a game plan that they worked on all week. And this is the product after a week's worth of work. And this is what they do. After a week, shout out to Minnesota Vikings. Shout out to their fans for getting the W. Shout out to Brian Flores for making Mike Kafka look like a complete idiot. Shout out to Brian Flores for putting Jackson Dart in the blender today. We saw it. And this is why, for all those people that said you need to sit Jackson Dart for the rest of the season, no, he needs to go through this. He needs to see defenses like this. He can learn off of this. It's going to be so much stuff, and we might not think about we might not think it right now because of what was he 7 for 13? He only threw the ball 13 times. I'm sorry, he only had 13 attempts, 7 completions, 33 yards, and an interception. And that interception was not his fault. It was Theo Johnson's fault. Also, Van Ginkel did drop an interception too. That would have been 2. But he needs to live through this. He needs to go through this. These are the growing pains. This is what's going to make him better, even though he did nothing today. There's so much tape as far as what Brian Flores pretty much gave Jackson Dart a gift today by whooping his ass. And also Mike Kafka. Mike Kafka learned a lesson today. You know what Mike Kafka learned? Mike Kafka learned that there's levels to coaching, and he is not even on that level. He is not even close to being on the level of being a chess player, because today's game of chess, Brian Flores was flawless. It is what it is. Mike Fanta say it's always next year, right? Oh, man. Jonathan says we are really the worst team in the league. No doubt in my mind after this type of performance. We'll see next week, though. We'll see with the Raiders game. If we lose to the Raiders, we know for a fact we're the worst team. But right now, you couldn't tell me that we're not the worst team. We deserve that pick. What Parcells said, you are what your record is, right? It is what it is. Shout out to the Big Moo in the building. Said, yo, Big Dash, just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. I've been saying this for weeks now. I've been saying it for weeks now. It's just the worst. Dominic 81, shout out to you with the $1.99 super chat. Says, number 1 pick, here we come. Just depressing it. Of course, it's bad, man. It's bad, but guess what? I'm over it. I've already had time to mourn the 2025 season. I'm so far. It's already 2026 in my brain right now. I already dropped my first mock draft and everything. I am so far removed from 2025. I will say this though, I won't be able to get the past 3 hours back. Watching the New York Giants play now is just burning time, wasting time. If it wasn't for the NFL Sunday package and being able to watch multiple games at the same time, I would probably really be upset if the only game that I watch was the Giants. Shout out to Kevin with the $4.99 super chat. Says, Dash, I designed spaceship to launch these gentlemen into space. Theo dropped the Rock Johnson and Darius baby all hands Slayton. That pass was perfect that Slayton dropped. And you know what's crazy about that? Again, as fans right now, depending on how you feel, you already want, you either want the number one pick, so you're happy right now with the loss, or it just is what it is. That's where I'm at right now. It is what it is. I'm not happy that we lost, but it is what it is because I understand the bigger picture and keeping the number one overall pick because of what that can do for your team as far as trading back and getting a haul and adding more talent to this talent depleted roster, right? Right. But just I find myself in portions of the game like I can't believe that just happened. Dart had a tough day today, right? He had a tough day today. The few times he was able to pass the ball, what happened, right? And that Darius Slayton drop at the end of the game, it was a gotta have it moment, right? It was a gotta have it moment. The quarterback put the ball on the money in a gotta have it moment. Even though a lot of people don't want to win this game, that's a gotta have it moment for the players on the field. And he drops the ball again. And I put out a tweet automatically. I said, because Darius Slayton likes to tweet and throw jabs on Twitter. We've seen that before. He can't say anything to anybody, period. Darius Slayton can't make any comments because this year was the year when as soon as Malik Neighbors went down, this was the year where Darius Slayton was supposed to step up and back up all that trash he was talking. And he didn't. So I don't want to hear anything from Darius Slayton for at least a season. And that's even if he's a Giant next year, and pretty much we don't have a choice in the matter. But we also saw the limitations. A lot of people talk about Wan'Dale Robinson. And when he has a good game, everybody wants to sign Wan'Dale Robinson. But when it's a bad game, what do you see? You see the limitations. And it's not his heart. It's not his talent. It's just, he's limited as far as just his size. He doesn't have the catch radius. He can run routes. He's pretty fast. He has good hands. He is tough as hell. But he's limited in his stature. So with that limitation being there, how much money is he really worth? When I'm looking at next year's draft and next year's roster with the wide receiver room, it's really Malik Neighbors and nobody else. And I got some pushback in the mock drafts asking me why I'm taking the wide receiver so high. What about the offensive line? This is why. And then also we do need offensive line. We saw it today. Shout out to is it JB? Is it JB? No, J Beam a game. I can't pronounce the name. Montana 7774. Are we really stuck with Darius Slayton? Shaking my head. And I do apologize for not being able to pronounce your name. JB, you guys can probably say it better than I can. I know it's Montana at the end. And it's probably something easy, and I'm just thrown off by it. But are we really stuck with Darius Slayton? Yes, we are. Who's trading for Darius Slayton and paying him $12 million? Who? Nobody is. Nobody. We are stuck with that guy. We can't move on from Darius Slayton until 2027. Period. So we got to pay him that $12 million unless he agrees on a pay cut. And we'll see what happens. But you can't eat all that money that it's going to cost you for Darius Slayton. Shout out to Ford Expedition with the $5 super chat. Says, great interview for Flores for the Giants coaching job. That's a fact. That's a fact. We saw constant pressure today, disguised pressure, free runners. Again, Jackson Dart was in a blender today. Jackson Dart, he gave Jackson Dart the old Sam Darnold treatment. Jackson Dart was out there seeing ghosts, or either he didn't know what was happening. And this is a great experience for him because, again, I think he grows from this and gets better from it for sure. Hopefully. Because Brian Flores put belt to ass today. Not just on Jackson Dart, but on the offensive line. Definitely on Mike Kafka. So speaking of Mike Kafka, I want to get to my next point, man. And actually, let me get caught up. I'm going to go ahead so you guys can see your comments as well. Thank you for letting me know that I'm good. Audio's good. Visual's good. 803 NYG says fire Kafka, the interim OC and interim DC. This is why Saints didn't hire him. This was a pathetic showing, and we shouldn't finish on third or fourth down. Oh, yeah, we couldn't finish. We couldn't finish on third and fourth down. Slayton dropped another pass. It's ridiculous. No, it is ridiculous. Again, it's over for him. It's over for Kafka. Kafka will be lucky if Kafka might be somebody's quarterback coach next year, somebody's passing game coordinator last year. Not saying it's a knock on that job. I'm just saying you go from getting head coaching interviews to not getting any interviews at all, and then hoping that somebody picks you up. You might see Kafka in college next year. He might get knocked down all the way to the college rankings, man. It was that bad. Why? Like, so even if the game plan, even if the game plan was to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, when you're in the fourth quarter and you're down 3 points, and it's just over 2 minutes left in the game, why are you still trying to run the ball? You gave up. You gave up, and you gave up on, and good luck getting the players back. Good luck getting the players back. Shout out to is it Zizu? Zizu with the $5 super chat says the first football game I remember watching in my life was a Super Bowl versus the Bills. Never since then have I ever watched a game wanting the Giants to lose. Sad. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. It is what it is. The Giants beat it out of you just like they did me. They beat it out of us, man. As loyal as this fan base is, and just think about it, man. We got to have one of the most loyal fan bases in the league. If we're still out here rooting and having faith for the New York Giants, despite them not putting a good product on the field for so many years. Thank God for those Super Bowls. Thank God for those Super Bowls for sure. I am Robbie. This is a great point, and this is going to be a topic of discussion moving forward. I heard it in the spaces today. He says Dart was better with Dable. He's getting exposed now. I like the comment. I do believe that Dart was better with Dable, but Dable wasn't good for the Giants. Mike Kafka, the way he calls his offense, you would think that this running game was dominant. He calls games like it's dominant, and also he has no counterpunch. Kafka has no counterpunch. When you see, and I said this real time too, man. When the defense is being this aggressive, what took you so long to throw a screen pass? We didn't throw our first screen pass until the third quarter. If you want a defense to calm down and second guess themselves, and because they were coming after the quarterback like the hair was on fire, you use their aggressiveness against them. That's what you do. And from the first play of the game, Brian Flores was sending multiple players, free runners, at Jackson Dart. And nobody thought of running the screenplay early on just to calm down that defense. Again, you got one coach that's playing chess and another coach that's playing Connect Fours, not even checkers. It's bad. It's bad. Junks for Life says, I give up. I think we all gave up a while ago, man. A couple weeks ago, we gave up. Sincerely yours. You changed your name, brother. He says, what's up, Dash? The New York run pass, Giants. Run, and then run some more, and then run some more. Then when it's third and long, you pass the ball, or you take the sack. It was a bad game for Dart. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. Dart's day was horrible. A lot of people possibly could predict it. Again, this is the first time that Jackson Dart saw this type of defense. And the funny thing is that when I'm watching this game, it reminded me so much of what Wink Martindale used to do. Free runners, constantly moving to the last second. How many times did the play clock almost get to zero before we hiked the ball? Because Jackson Dart was trying to diagnose what the defense was doing, but they were constantly moving. At certain times, you had 7 people on the line, and then they would just bail out at the snap of the ball. Like it was one of those games. A bunch of teaching points for Jackson Dart in this game. I've seen Brian Flores do this to veterans. I've seen Brian Flores do this to the best of quarterbacks. So, of course, with a rookie, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, make the rookie look like a rookie. And Jackson Dart absolutely looked like a rookie. But guess what? Mike Kafka didn't help him at all. But a horrible day for Jackson Dart. It was that one pass where Wan'Dale Robinson broke loose down the field, and he sailed the pass on him. Ball took forever to get there. By the time the ball got there, the defender got there too. And you know me, I run straight to Twitter. He gotta throw a better ball there. And then what I'm looking for is his feet. And I did have a topic over here that said Jackson Dart's feet. I switched it to Dart's day. But Jackson Dart rarely gets his feet set. And he's always trying to escape out of the pocket. A lot of people blame Shedeur Sanders for wanting to escape out of the pocket or playing too much hero ball. We see it today. That's a part of the process. These are young quarterbacks. It happens. But nobody's getting open for the most part. And then the lack of using a tight end. They brought Daniel Bellinger in as a H-back / fullback, and you saw us be able to run the ball a bit. But then we pretty much ran it too much. And then the Vikings got hip to it, and they ended up shutting down the running game too. Because by the time Singletary got in there, he wasn't very productive. But it goes to show you what happens when real coaching makes an adjustment. And it just goes to show you the level that the New York Giants are on versus another team that's also eliminated from the playoffs, but still can outcoach the New York Giants. It's just sad right now. It's absolutely sad right now. Shout out to Iron Line. What's going on, Sully? How you doing? He says, big up, Dash. Pack it up. He said, pack it up. Season's been done. Nothing to see here. Nothing more to see here. There's nothing to see here. Just the New York Giants being a New York Giants. Nothing you haven't seen before. Turn the movie off. We've seen this before, right? Darnold had a better defense. True. Oh no, Dable had a better defense. Okay, I got you. Toilet Bowl, that's a fact. Next toilet. It's not even a Saturday game. They put it on Sunday still. I thought we would get a Saturday game. But no. JJ got rocked. Yeah, let's talk about a bright spot. Let's talk about a bright spot before I get to another low light, right? Defense decided to hit today. I was happy about that. Guys were making hits. Bobby Okereke, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter had another good day, great day. You know, the cornerbacks were hitting. Cordell Flock got banged up, so it is what it is with that. But we saw plays being made that we normally don't see from this defense. So I don't know if it's the constant criticism that these guys have been getting. Hopefully so. And if that's the case, I'm going to keep on criticizing the defense and calling them soft if it turns into a game like that. We saw Dexter Lawrence for the first time get pressure. Knocked a couple quarterback hits, didn't get a sack today, but I think he had 2 or 3 quarterback hits today. So the defense looked good today. Roy Robinson Harris was making plays. We finally got a chance to see Chauncey Golston. But did you notice why these guys were making plays? Look at the defensive alignment, man. Again, we're fresh out of the game, so a lot of people probably are not watching it as closely, but maybe some of you guys are. We went to the even man front. We had a 4-man front. It looked like we almost ran a traditional 4-3, but it was really like a 4-2 defense, a 4-2-4 or what 4-2-5. Yeah. And they got success. Again, Chauncey Golston tackles for losses today. Had a sack today, if not 2. He might have had 2 sacks. I think Abdul Carter had 2 sacks today, some tackles for losses. We saw him get moved around. I saw the announcer talk about, when he lined him up over the center, when he got the spin move on him. Oh, that reminds me of Micah Parsons. So we're finally using Abdul Carter the way that we should have been using him. But he's getting home. And I do think that him actually, locking in and taking things seriously after getting, criticized for most of the season, especially the last couple of weeks, he finally has shown up and he's looking like the guy that we expected to see being drafted 3rd overall. But the defense was hitting. Let me get some more of these comments. OPBO2 Gamer says, let's not act like Mike Kafka in play calling hasn't been a problem since the start. Dable was right. Yeah. But who hired Mike Kafka? It is what it is. Whole staff is flawed, man. Just one NYG says Brian Flores should be the next head coach. Unlock this defense. Listen, man, you've been locked in with me. This is why I still want Brian Flores as the next head coach for the New York Giants. I know that he's suing the NFL and suing the Giants, but that's what settlements are for. You can't tell me like today today just stamped it for me that Brian Flores really should be in the consideration, serious consideration, for being the New York Giants' next head coach. And the crazy thing about it is, if that does become what happens, that's what John Mara and Tim McDonald wanted 4 years ago. They wanted Brian Flores over Brian Dable. And again, I keep saying that Joe Shane talked them into Brian Dable and talked them off of Brian Flores. Tom says a lot of empty seats. I saw from that's 2 weeks in a row. Let that keep happening. Let that keep happening. The Dallas Cowboys no longer have anything to play for, but guess what? They were playing today. They were putting up points today. It is what it is. We're getting smoked by the Cowboys at the end of the season. Like, our only chance, I really believe our only chance of winning the game is against the Raiders next week. And then I got to ask Giants fans, how many of us really want to win that game? We're so close to the end. Said last name Dart, no targets. Yeah. No darts thrown today. And then when the darts were thrown today, they were dropped or tipped and intercepted. Now, it's funny, man. It's funny. Is it Goju? Goju man says, can you imagine no Andrew Thomas against Max Crosby? Yeah, I don't even know what the injury is with Andrew Thomas. I know he couldn't return. So for me, shut him down. Shut Andrew Thomas down. If he's hurt, shut him down. I don't. He does not need to play next week. Shut him down. Shut him down. If he's not healthy, because we already know the injury history with Andrew Thomas. If he's just a little bit nicked up, shut him down. Shut Andrew Thomas down. Simeon, what's going on, Simeon? He says, yes, we are stuck with Slayton. Watch Wandell land in Philly. I really don't care. The Giants are at the point where we shouldn't, our roster, the amount of money that we pay, right? I think we're, as far as salaries go, like we're like in the top 10 with salaries. And then like the top 5 with defensive salary. And there's no reason why we should be that high with the results that we're seeing on the field. So a guy like Wandell Robinson, and again, we have the highs and we have the lows. A couple of weeks ago, 100-yard game, everybody's like, you gotta sign Wandell Robinson. And he's been like a roller coaster, up and down, right? This his entire career. He's flashed, and then we see where he's limited. And I think that's going to be him forever, unless he finds himself in a scheme where the coach, the head coach, and the play caller is just that good, and they can scheme up better than what the New York Giants are doing. This is what Wandell's career might be, just up and down. There'll be games where you use him and he can get you 100 yards, and there'll be games where he shows his limitations. And right now, I don't know who's walking through the door to save the New York Giants. And to that point, again, we're talking about possibly signing Luminor for up to almost $20 million. We're talking about people want to bring back Flott, and he's injured now at like $12 million to $13 million. You're talking about Wandell Robinson at like that $13 million mark. Does it really make sense? Does it really make sense? Or do you build around the quarterback that you have now, continue to get cheap talent through the draft, and then see what you can do with better coaching? I don't know. We'll figure it out, though. We got a couple of months to figure this thing out. Barry says, learning year for Dart. He wasn't supposed to start this year. He will be better. Hopefully we have a new GM and head coach. Definitely something that he learned from today. Again, Brian Flores' defense is Brian Flores. No matter what the record is for the Minnesota Vikings, that defense is tough. Top 15 defense in the rankings. And you see why. Marvin says Mendoza call and pick up the phone. It's funny, man. And that's one thing that I also tweeted out too. I said the trade dart people, the quote unquote trade dart people, are gonna have a field day with today's performance. Yeah, it was a battle last week. Then after this performance from Dart this week, I already know what it's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, ESPN, Fox Sports, Greeny, especially Colin Cowherd, is going to have a field day this week. And I can't even blame him for he's still absolutely wrong. But they got a little bit more of a leg to stand on now after this performance from Jackson Dart. Now, the other thing is he only had 13 attempts. 13 attempts, 33 yards, but 13 attempts. That's the game plan. That's Mike Kafka calling the plays right there. And you only had 13 attempts in a low-scoring game. I'll give you that. Low-scoring game. But you can't do that, man. Just because you don't have that early success, which I don't even think he tried early in the game, but just because the quarterback is under constant pressure doesn't mean that you stop playing football and stop making adjustments and just settle for, a 3-yard run here, 4-yard run there, third and long, attempt, punt the ball, go forward on fourth down, don't get the conversion. And speaking of conversions, the few times that we made it into the red zone today, just awful play calling. And this has been a trademark of Mike Kafka in the red zone. The crazy thing about that, the best that we were ever in the red zone was in 2022 when we had Saquon Barkley and Mike Kafka was calling the plays in, and we were damn good in the red zone. Now we get into the red zone, I almost wish like we would have scored from like 40 yards out, because I know for a fact once we get into the 20 and we ain't scored a touchdown, it's not happening. Mike Kafka get in the red zone and becomes a dummy. It's like football for dummies when the New York Giants get into the red zone. All of a sudden, we don't know how to call plays, trick plays, a lot out. You got 2 6'6" tight ends, and you don't target them once in the end zone. We're missing the whole left side of the offensive line. Shout out to John Runyon. He's expecting a baby, so he didn't play today. Andrew Thomas goes down, and you're still trying to run the ball with backups. Marcus Bowe was in there. Aaron Stinney with a case of the false starts and holding. It was just bad all around today. Bad all around today. Patrick Grove says Flores checkmate game. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's just ugly. Xavier Anderson says it's not Dart, it's the play calling. They dumbed down the offense to a point that there is no reason for him to be out there. Why have him out there to hand the ball off, put Russ in for that, or put Jameis Winston in for that? You know what's crazy? I agree with that point that you made, right? Because I don't want him to sit. I want him to develop. But if your game plan is to hand the ball off 45 times a game, then why is he out there? So you're absolutely right, Xavier. If this is going to be the move moving forward, the game plan moving forward to just run the ball 40, 50 times a game, then I don't need to see Dart in there for that. There's no growth in that. There's no growth in that. So I do believe in that point for sure. Patrick says I'm giving Flores his flowers. It is what it is. McCarthy still trash. JJ the King. That's a fact. You know what's crazy though? We bailed him out. We bailed JJ McCarthy out because what was it? Right after we got the interception that ended up not being an interception or the pick six, he ended up getting a quarterback scramble for a touchdown, and he's in the end zone doing the gritty. Next series, we knock him out of the game. So much respect for the defense for stepping up and having a response to that. Adrian says, I disagree, Dash. Doubt it was I disagree, Dash. Doubt it was the game plan for Dart to only have 3 pass attempts with 2 minutes left in the half. You tell me, man. There's no other explanation for it. To me. There's no other explanation for it. What do you have? 5? He had 5 attempts in the first half? Ended up with 13? You think it was all just Kafka? I think they planned to run the ball for sure. I think it was Kafka. He didn't know what to do with Flores, so he decided to run the ball. I don't know what. When I go back and watch it again, if I want to go back and watch it again, maybe I can see it through different lenses. But to me, it had to be the game plan, right? The first couple of plays are scripted. They had 3 straight running plays. The first series is usually scripted, so the game plan to me had to be running the ball. Maybe it wasn't. Simeon says the Maras are not going to hire Flores under any circumstances. If it happens, the coach and Tisches would have to demand it. I don't think the Maras have an issue with Brian Flores. Brian Flores is suing the NFL, and also because of the situation that happened with the Giants, it just they're the ones that didn't hire him, and they picked Brian Dable. And if you want to blame somebody, blame Belichick for leaking that stuff that caused Brian Flores to go ahead and do the lawsuit. But the Mariners actually like Brian Flores. That's the difference. They actually like Brian Flores. They wanted him to be the coach. And also, at the end of the day, it's about the money. And if Brian Flores being the right answer for the New York Giants means that they're a winning franchise or he can turn them around, that means more money. So how about everybody make more money and make the right decision and get this thing done? Patrick Grove says the drops were a bummer all game long. Yeah, that's a fact. They were. They were. Barry says, imagine having the number 1 pick and nobody wants to trade up. That's another scenario I brought up. I think it was last week. But I do believe that Mendoza is going to go through the college playoff and play well. And I think that Indiana does win a national championship. And once that happens, he doesn't have to throw a ball at the combine. He doesn't have to do anything until his pro day. And he is probably, solidified being the first overall pick. We'll see what happens, though. Simeon says, to tell the truth, I fell asleep about 10 minutes into the third quarter. I missed nothing. Yeah, you missed nothing. Like I said, thank God for the Sunday package. I was able to watch other games while watching the Giants. Awful. Armand says, how much is Slayton's dead cap? I got it right now. Hold on. I still got my note. I keep my notes. Darius Slayton dead cap is $16 million. $16 million for Darius Slayton. That's the dead cap. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That's his cap hit. The dead cap is just under $16 million because you only save $216,000 if you cut Darius Slayton. So you got to eat $15 million plus to cut Darius Slayton. He's here. Because nobody's picking up that contract. Not with all the drops. Not with all those issues. Nobody's paying that $12 million. You might have got somebody to do it at the buy, possibly, maybe, but not after this season. We're stuck with Darius Slayton. Stuck. My only hope is that we get enough, wide receivers in the room that he becomes wide receiver 3 or 4, possibly. But at the end of the day, we'll be paying a wide receiver 4 $12 million in 2026. So it's a lose-lose. And that's the reason why Joe Shane shouldn't be here anymore. That's a fact. Word says, is it me or is Dart looking worse? It's not you. It's not you. Dart is looking worse. Dart is looking like a rookie. To come out the way he came out beginning of the season with the highs of the highs looking like he was a shoe-in for the offensive rookie of the year, to looking what he looks like now under Mike Kafka. Because again, remember Mike Kafka's first 2 games were with Jameis Winston. 2 different styles of quarterback. And Jameis Winston was going off. And to somebody's point, somebody said it earlier, Kafka just can't coach Jackson Dart. That's what it might look like. He is not the guy for Jackson Dart. They're worried about him running the ball. Who knows if you do add some quarterback design runs. I was wrong. I wanted to see more of Dart in the pocket and operating out of the pocket. And now that we're seeing that they're trying to do that, and it does not look good, but also I blame the route concepts, and I also blame the wide receivers not being able to get open. Now, the tight ends are able to get open in certain matchups and certain route concepts, but nobody else is getting any real separation. And when they do have separation, what does Dart do? He throws it to him, and it's either dropped, or if he doesn't set his feet, the ball is sailing. There's things that Dart needs to fix. We already knew that. Mechanics was one of them. His feet was one of them. And we keep seeing that week after week. The good thing for us is all those things are coachable. They talked about Mahomes' mechanics coming out of college. That's why he dropped. But he found a coach that can coach around the mechanics. Because even right now, Mahomes doesn't have the best mechanics, but it works for him because that's the way he's been playing his entire life. Let's build an offense around him. Let's get the talent around him where he can excel. For the New York Giants, you have Dart, who does not have the best mechanics, but has been playing that way his whole life, but he doesn't have the team around him to support, what he doesn't do the best. So you do have to come to, I guess, a decision to say, okay, let's build this team up for Dart. Because I think Dart has everything else, competitiveness. He wants to win. The losses are hard on him. Pause. But yeah. Dominic 81 with the 4.99 super chat says Kafka thought his game plan was some fire. Kafka cooked any chances he had of being the head coach next year. Done. Dead man walking. Green mile. Over. Finished. Basura. Finito. All of that. Kafka is cooked. He is absolutely cooked. Listen, they don't have anybody left to fire. Or I should say to promote. If you fire Mike Kafka, you can't do it. It just doesn't make sense. The Giants just look worse. So we got to deal with these next 2 weeks, these next 2 games. But Mike Kafka is absolutely awful. Awful. Can you dig it? With the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate the love and support. Kafka's killing Dart's growth. This team has given up the regime, everyone, and is giving up regime, everyone, and start all over. What's up, Dash? Get the first and trade down for more assets. I will say the team has not given up because the defense played today. Defense played their asses off today, actually, if we're being honest. So the team hasn't given up on themselves, but as far as Mike Kafka, they don't trust Mike Kafka. They don't trust Mike Kafka. Not after the last couple of games. They do not trust Mike Kafka one bit. And the funny thing is, when it was Shane Bowen, we saw the defense mail it in, and then we saw Charlie Bullen. Charlie Bullen called a good game today. I'll say that. It's either Charlie Bullen called a good game, or he had a good game plan, or the players just finally stepped up. One or the other, but something happened with the defense today. They woke up. They were fighting for themselves. For each other, I should say. And then also the proof was in the play of Dexter Lawrence. This is the best Dexter Lawrence I've seen since the Chargers game. So these guys have not given up on themselves. That coaching staff, I can't talk for them. I can't speak for them. And I do believe that if Kafka's going to call plays like this and have game plans like this, then he's absolutely, to your point, can you dig it? He's killing Dart's growth for sure. For sure. Prentice with the $5 super chat says, are you worried that if Dart keeps taking too many hits that he can see a Tua situation as far as concussions? You're going to get hit as a quarterback. It just happens. Today he took a couple of hits to the head, but you see he responded well to him. I think that him going to the tent to the tent as many times as he has is on the referees, not on Jackson Dart. Because again, he's been in there 5 times. He only had 1 concussion. We are making that an issue. The media is making it an issue. The fans are making it an issue. Social media is making it an issue. When you look at Dart himself, he's been fine after hits. He's been playing after hits. Even when he got the concussion, he played after concussion because they didn't catch it initially. And he also completed passes after the concussion. So I think Dart is going to be fine. I don't think it's a Tua situation. Again, when it's Tua, and I just talked about that last night. We saw what happened to Tua. Like, we saw his fingers going in all those different directions. We knew that his brain wasn't firing on all cylinders when he got hit that one time. It was worrisome to look at. It was hard to look at. Pause. But I'm not putting Jackson Dart in the Tua category at all. Way too early for that. Way too early for that. Let's see. Zizou. Okay, there you go. Zizou. Thank you for that. Astro Glass says Kafka tried to make that game as quick as possible. You got a point. Because when you're running the ball, that clock does not stop. Yep. You're absolutely right. Black Jackson 7436 says Giants fans was gassed off preseason again. When y'all gonna learn? I don't know when we're gonna learn. We probably gonna do the same exact thing next year, brother. Same thing next year, brother. We what do you call it? Stockholm syndrome. when you're just used to the pain, used to the abuse, fall for it, gullible. It is what it is. It is what it is. Miguel Mendez says, I'm always rooting for the Giants. I love Big Blue. We should have kept our head coach. Kafka is trash. Now, again, certain things needed to happen in order for the Mavericks to make a decision to just burn it all down. And everything that's happening right now, hopefully, just gives the Mara family, the Tish family, the ammunition or the confidence to burn this thing down again. Because again, the only time they make changes are when they're absolutely uncomfortable or when they're absolutely an embarrassment. And right now, the New York Giants are absolutely an embarrassment. You got John Mara, who's sick, dealing with what he's dealing with. And to me, this is the perfect time to just burn it all down again. New regime again. Accept that you made the mistake, whether with Joe Shane, with Brian Dable, because even though Jackson Dart looked better under Brian Dable, the team still looked bad. So regardless, Brian Dable had to go, Shane Bowen had to go, Mike Kafka has to go, and then of course Joe Shane has to go. So regardless, we had to get to this point. But again, if we would have went through the season and say we would have won 5 games or 6 games, and then we would have probably just kept these guys for another year. We needed to be this bad in order for in hopes that the Mavericks actually decide to make that change. Rocket 1791 says, Dash, I'm over this team. I've lost all my hair over the years due to rooting for this team who continues to lose. Look at me. Look at me. You're not the only person bald here, fella. You're not the only person that lost hair to the stress of the New York Giants. Look at the grays in my beard. I'm too young to have all these grays, man. Half of that is genetics, though. I think I've been gray since I was like 31 years old, but it is what it is. Shout out to the Crawford Experience $5 super chat. Said, "What's good, Dash? If the Giants get the first pick, would you trade down and throw in Kayvon?" Listen, those are two different trades right there. Those are two different trades. That trading a number 1 pick will get you multiple first rounds or maybe something else in next year's first. I mean, the 2027's first. Kayvon Thibodeau, in my opinion, if you want to trade Kayvon Thibodeau, that's a separate trade. Kayvon Thibodeau is not included in any kind of first overall pick trade. If you want to trade Kayvon, you're getting additional picks in a separate package for Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe you can get a third for Kayvon. When you get to the draft, maybe you can even get a second for Kayvon, depending on what team it is and where they're at and how they feel about Kayvon Thibodeau. Right now, Kayvon's cap hit, I think, is like $16 million, right? Something like that. Because he picked up the 5th-year option. This defense is too bad to be paying all this money. So there's going to be some certain moves that are going to be made that a lot of people probably won't like. Maybe you will like them. I don't know. But those are two different trades to answer your question, Crawford. Two different trades. Whatever we trade back, if we keep this first overall pick, whatever that package is going to be for that first overall pick. And then if we do decide that we want to move on from Kayvon Thibodeau, that's a separate trade, separate package, and hopefully multiple picks that we can get, or maybe a third rounder in 2027, and also in 2026, and save some money. Mike Fanta says Jackson Dart didn't look like Jackson Dart when he played going against the Eagles. Yeah, different Jackson Dart. Also, different type of energy. You still had Scatterboo in the building, and I mean that was when those two guys were playing together, was a different energy. You saw it, and since Scatterboo's been gone, a little piece of Dart left with him. Really, when you think about it, how many games did? So what was it? The second Eagles game. How many games was that between that last Eagles game when Scatterboo got hurt and then Brian Dable got fired after the Chicago game? How many games was that? But I mean, we can admit that Jackson Dart did look better under Dable, and a lot of people were scared that Jackson Dart's growth, would pretty much stop once Dable was gone. But I think people are realizing that what Brian Dable was doing at the time where Jackson Dart looked better, it was just Jackson Dart freestyling back there. Running around, design runs and Jackson Dart freestyling. He just had a little bit more success. Now that you have Mike Kafka is scared to run them. And then the route concepts are awful. So for me, again, things had to happen. Things had to happen. Let me try to get caught up in the comment section. I'm almost 20 minutes behind. I'm going to go all the way. I do apologize. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Actually, let me stop at my man Tyrone Hall because I haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall. How you doing, man? Carter cost us 6 today, enough to win. That is true. But it might have been God's plan too, Tyrone. Might have been God's plan. Maybe the football gods are saying the New York Giants need this first overall pick in order to make a change. I can't. I mean, I have to make up things in order to cope with what I saw today, and it was crazy. But yeah, Javon Holland needed that play. That kind of play would have changed the discussion of Javon Holland. It would have been like, yeah, with Javon Holland, it might be worth the money making plays like that. But it is what it is. Skills says next year Scat Neighbors back and a bunch of good draft picks. We should be good. It's all about the coaching staff at the end of the day. You got to get the right people in the building leading these guys. Lack of leadership. You see it in Hard Knocks. They not messing with Kafka. Kafka's not getting any respect in that building. The players no longer trust Kafka. And it's just so much that the locker room leaders can do. It's just so much Jameis Winston can do as a locker room leader on that offensive side as far as being a vocal leader. When the players don't trust the coach, it's over. It's over. We saw the defense didn't trust Bowen. We saw the outcry for Brian Dable. And again, we forget because we're so caught up in the what have you done for me lately and the recency bias, we forgot how bad it was with Dable too. Remember, it was awful with Dable too. Now it's awful with Kafka. That just tells me that, Jackson Dart might have looked good with Brian Dable, but it was still a bad situation. No matter what, we needed to clean house, and that's what we're dealing with right now, unfortunately. Hamstring. Okay, hamstring for that's right, hamstring for yeah, shut him down. Kadarius Slayton is crazy. That's hilarious. What's going on, George Boney? Tony, was it Tone Fury says Mendoza's a system quarterback. Said, what system do we have? Yeah, we don't have a system at all. We don't. Back to Kafka going back to KC. That's funny. Dane the Beautiful Monster says, Dash, the people that want to trade Dart are the same guys that take their girlfriends back after she cheats on them. Trade your wife. That's crazy. Illuminor didn't play today either. Illuminor played today. He had a false start at the end. Illuminor played. Sure did. People talking about taking the unknown are dumb. Booking tackles as Dart was very good in red zone before. So what changed? Mike Kafka. Also, like I said, how much, again, when you're playing defenses that ain't about that life, again, there's a lot of tape on Jackson Dart now. They see his tendencies. Maybe to the defense, they know that he likes to escape, out of a certain side more than the other. So maybe they force him, to the other side. There's tape on him now. So a lot of the stuff he was able to get away with before, possibly not able to get away with now. That's why he needs to continue to develop. We saw him today. He was dancing around, getting away from people. And then sometimes he was dancing a little bit and taking sacks. My issue is this, the times that he was dancing around and was able to buy some time, nobody was getting open. But we'll get to the all 22 and check it out. I might go back and watch this game because just because of Brian Flores to see what he was doing that made it so confusing to not just Jackson Dart, but to Mike Kafka and also the offensive line. It was a masterclass by Brian Flores today, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Flores put a little extra seasoning on the game plan just because it was in New York and it was against the Giants, if I'm being honest. Last year when they played the Giants first game of the season, he had a little bit of extra zone on that defensive game plan too. And we saw what we looked like last year. Made us look like dummies last year against the Vikings. Brian Flores there's a special, the Giants hold a special place in Brian Flores' heart. So that every time he gets a chance to play against the Giants, he absolutely makes us look foolish. And guess what? Last year that was against Brian Daboll, and he outcoached Brian Daboll then, and Mike Kafka. And last year Brian Daboll called the plays, and Brian Flores made him look foolish with Daniel Jones. So it is what it is. We just got to do it. We got to clean house. It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. Dominic with the $4.99 super chat said we knew Kafka was butt. He didn't even start in the NFL. Cooked. We can't hold that against him. There's a lot of coaches that didn't really play in the NFL. They got here and couldn't play. That's why they became like all of the best players. Just think about it. All of the best players, like the Hall of Famers. How many of those guys are really like coaches? Not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. You might have one or two that end up being coaches, but for the most part, if you were really good in the NFL, you're probably not a coach. But to your point, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Prentice says, I see why Daboll took play calling from Kafka. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Shout out to my man Phil in the building. What's going on, Phil? He says, I think they told Dart do not leave the pocket under no circumstances. He doesn't look the same. I feel like they're intentionally holding him back. They could be. But you do it at your own detriment. Like holding Jackson Dart back makes you look bad, even worse, and then just pretty much secures that you won't be here. And the part that sucks is, again, these guys, we're talking about people's livelihood. We're talking about positional coaches, staff, front office staff and stuff like that are going to be looking for new jobs in 2026, uprooting their families again. So there's a real life aspect to it, to these conversations that we're having. As fans, we can just say fire everybody, and it's the truth. This is the industry that they chose. It's volatile, not for long. NFL, not for long. Also, for the players, also means the same for the coaches and for the GMs and the front office staff. It's not for long for everybody, unless you're successful. So it's a part of the game, part of the life that they chose. But at the end of the day, these are real lives being affected with these losses. A lot of people are going to be looking for jobs, and not just with the New York Giants franchises. A lot of people are going to be looking for jobs next year in 2026 from this staff. Hopefully, Carmen Brasillo's not one of them, though. That's why I'm trying to get to as many comments as possible. Tone Fury says, blame. He says, bruh, blame who you want. I don't even care at this point. I mean, listen, the losses don't affect me anymore because I'm already moved on, right? I'm already moved on. Right now, it's just making sure, and this is the part that sucks. Right now, it's almost making sure that the Giants are the absolute worst product on the field in order to move on from Joe Schoen. Because we saw, even remember Joe Judge? Remember, they were thinking about keeping Joe Judge until we had the quarterback sneaks in like our own end zone. What was it? I forgot what it was. The quarterback kneels or whatever it was. We pretty much conceded. And then that was pretty much a straw that broke the camel's back for Joe Judge, and they got rid of him. But they were planning on bringing Joe Judge back. So when it came to Joe Schoen, everything you hear from all the reporters, beat writers, and columnists is that they love Joe Schoen. The Mara family, the Tisch family, they love Joe Schoen. They believe in Joe Schoen. So in order for them to actually move on for someone they believe in and that they love, you got to see them fall on their face and be terrible. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, just to make sure that there's no chances of Joe Schoen coming back. Like, how can you justify it with all of these losses? Shout out to my man, Coach Ed, man. What's going on, Coach Ed? How you doing? Sets up, Dash. What's going on? Peace and blessings to you, Coach Ed. How you been? Smooth Criminal. He says Kafka is a wrap. Has shut down everything. Any chance of getting a win this year? Dart has looked horrible since the takeover, and you can burn as his application to be a head coach is done. Ashes to ashes. Ashes to ashes on that application. Yeah, man, it's bad, man. But you gotta laugh to stop from crying when you're a Giants fan, man, for sure. You gotta laugh to stop from crying. Kevin Davis, what's going on? Kevin Davis says Shula is coming and might bring a recently fired Zach Taylor with him. I got an episode that I'm working on. Again, because I put out an early video talking about different coaching prospects. I got it narrowed down a little bit more to not only just head coaching prospects or candidates, I should say, but also who they can possibly bring with them if they do get the job with the New York Giants. I'll share one of those connections. One of the connections, and I was talking about it earlier today in one of the Giants chats on Twitter. And I don't like the head coach candidate by himself more than I like, the combo or the package deal. Is Vance Joseph, right? Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator from the Denver Broncos, right? Not a name that everybody's clamoring over, but it would be the package of having Vance Joseph as head coach and then also an up and coming offensive mind, Davis Webb. We're all familiar with Davis Webb as the OC. If you can get Vance Joseph and have him bring Davis Webb, because he's not even a coordinator for Denver, he's the quarterbacks coach and pass game coordinator. That's probably a good combo to look at. So I'm working on a video where I do that with a couple different candidates. Chris Shula was another one, and who he could possibly bring with him. I don't want to ruin that. I'm going to save that for the video, but I'll probably be doing that, after Black Monday, and everybody knows what Black Monday is. That's when a lot of these coaches end up getting canned and fired. So probably the week after Black Monday, I probably put out that video and see how it does. Whatever. Coach Ed with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate the love and support. Says Big Dash, Big Dash for GM. You're getting this. You'll get this right. Money and all. Listen, I already tell, man, I joke all the time. If I'm the GM, I know I'm getting fired. I got one good season to try to implement with all my changes, and after that, if it doesn't work, I'm getting fired too. Nah, man, I'm not even going to act like I can do the job that these guys do. Even though I feel like I could, on paper, on social media, on YouTube, I feel like I can put something together. But what these guys do day to day, I respect it, man. I respect it. And it's tough. It's hard. But that's why you get paid the big bucks to do it. That's why you get paid the big bucks to be successful. Kenya Digger says, Dash, how do you feel about Freeman as head coach? I was talking about this last night on the Late Night Giants Talk. A couple weeks ago, I wasn't for Freeman, and it was for simple reasons. The reason why I don't like Marcus Freeman, because I don't know who his connections are in the league. For me, Marcus Freeman is one of those CEO types that the Giants are looking for as far as being a head coach. If you hire Marcus Freeman, he's absolutely going to be a head coach. He's not going to lean more to the defense or lean more to the offense, even though he has a defensive background. He is the CEO. What connections does he have as far as who would his coordinators be? And I made the example last night that if you told me, we're going to hire Marcus Freeman as our head coach, and the DC is Jim Schwartz, and the OC might be like a Brian Callahan, then I'm all for Marcus Freeman because I like those coordinators. So it just depends when it comes to Marcus Freeman for me. Christopher Tony, what's going on? He said, hey, Dash, everyone in the chat. We got cream stuffed French vanilla coaches on this coaching staff with their play calling. It was awful today. Play calling was awful today. There's no way around it. No way around it. I think I'm getting caught up almost. Let me get caught up so I can get to these last talking points. I think I might have hit all the talking points, actually. Shout out to my man LRP in the building. He says, let me get a chance in the building. Hey, let me get in that room. Listen, I believe you got the confidence to do it. Because guess just some of the conversations we've had in the past is the stuff that we would have did that probably would have worked out. Probably would have worked out. These guys, it's crazy, man. 4 seasons, man. Four seasons of these guys, and we're right back to the drawing board. That's the pitiful part of it. That's the pitiful. And the only thing you can say, at least you got a quarterback, possibly. At least there's a quarterback that we believe in. We don't know if he's the guy yet, but we believe that he could be the guy, right? But that's not even a certain yet. We just believe that he could be. He said, "Bro, for real." Bookend says, "Don't feel bad. They get big money. That's a fact. It's the guy. Yeah, it's the guys lower on the pole that take the hit. Nah, the positional coaches and stuff like that. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, we're dealing with people's lives here, so it is what it is." Chris Chris D, what's going on? Chris D says, "We got another week of Mendoza. Get rid of. Listen, we thought it was bad last week. It's going to be off tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, Chris. I'm telling you." That's going to be like they're going to start unless something fantastic happens. Maybe they talk about the Chicago Bears game because last night's Chicago Bears Packer game was fantastic. A star was born in Caleb Williams. Hopefully, there's no denying it anymore. In my opinion, what Caleb Williams did last night, a star was born in Chicago. All right, so that's probably going to be the story starting off everybody's show tomorrow, right? Whether it's ESPN or Fox Sports. But outside of that, I don't know if anything else happened. We still got a couple of games to go through today. Outside of that, it's going to be the New York Giants with the first overall pick, and it's going to be how Jackson Dart looked and how bad Jackson Dart looked and what the New York Giants should do with the first overall pick. It's going to be that. It's absolutely going to be that. And whatever, like I said, whatever it was last week, do that times 100 for this week. Because just think about so I went after certain people too on Twitter last week. I went after Colin Coward. I went after Acho. I went after who else? Not when I say go after, I sent out some tweets pretty much at those people or either talking directly to those people. And these guys got big egos. So just trust and believe that they're writing their monologue right now, especially a guy like Acho. Acho's probably writing this monologue. Actually, he's not even going to wait till tomorrow. He's probably going to be on the speakeasy later tonight, ready to rub it in everybody's faces. Pause. Oh, look at you see Jackson Dart, the way he struggled? There's no way that the Giants can't think about taking Mendoza with the first. Are you kidding me? With all these problems that we have? We said we got 99 problems, but Dart ain't one. American Cheese says Dart almost threw Theo Johnson into a bad hit. We saw Theo Johnson get the case of the alligator arms too on that. Hit him in the hands, and we saw he was looking to see where the contact was coming. Yeah. Well, what about Dart's throw to Darius Slayton? What about that? Ryan says Dart looked awful, bad O-line play, injuries, drop passes, but still nonetheless bad play. But you don't trade your rookie quarterback who has 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and has shown good playability. He's shown us. He's flashed. We got an idea of what his ceiling could possibly be. We don't know what Mendoza's going to be. We know he's a good college quarterback. We know he should possibly be the top quarterback in this draft class if it's not Dante Moore. So it is what it is. LRP says, I believe he can. I love Dart. He has regressed under the staff. I hate to say it, but it's bad. Folks I respect may not have it staff wise. I'll say this. I'll keep it real simple for you guys. We talk about Jackson Dart regressing, right, in his rookie season. Doesn't really make that sense. Again, he played bad. I can't call it a regression because we don't know exactly what he's going to look like moving forward. But because we don't have enough information. We do have enough information on Dexter Lawrence. We do have enough information on Brian Burns. We do have enough information on Bobby Okereke. And those guys seem to regress as well. So if there's a pattern of players regressing within a regime and a staff? Is it the players or is it the staff? And then if you go the other route, when you look at the offensive line, that has been bad for a long time. And then you have the same offensive line that you had last year, but they play better under a second year of a coach that came in here. You see where I'm going? It's the coaching. Now you need more talent on this team. Not saying you can't bring Sean McVay here and not make any moves and expect the New York Giants to go to a Super Bowl. You definitely need to add more players, but we definitely need better coaching out here. We saw it today in just the play calling alone. Forget the execution. The play calling alone was bad. But it is what it is. Again, dealing with injuries too. Chris D said we should just put Dart. We had this discussion earlier, man. I don't agree with putting Dart on ice. I don't agree with that. But if the game plan is run some more, and then run some more again, and then run, pass, run, then he shouldn't be out there. If you're gonna do that. If this is Mike Kafka's game plan for the rest of the year, no. Like if we go out to Las Vegas next week against the Raiders, and his game plan is to run, pass, run, then we already know is a bunch of BS. We already know what it is then, because you can kind of get away with that against the Brian Flores defense, right? Because even though, like I said, the Vikings are 6-8 or whatever their record is, but if you have that same game plan going against the Raiders, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Then I go from like 95% sure to like 100% sure it's just all bad coaching. Yep. And those already plays an NFL style of offense at Indiana. True. Shedeur Sanders played the NFL style of offense. Colorado. It's a lot of players. Think about all the Alabama quarterbacks that didn't succeed. They were playing pro style offenses. Mac Jones played the pro style offense. I'm not talking about like Tua and Hurts. I'm talking about all those guys that got drafted. Greg McElroy was another Alabama quarterback, pro style offense. You know who didn't play a pro style offense? Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Drake May played. Did Drake May play a college style offense? I'm not sure. It's about the player. It's about whether or not they got it or not. It's a crapshoot when it comes to the system that they come from. It's about traits. Look at Josh Allen. Furthest thing from an NFL style offense. Look at Lamar Jackson, farthest thing. Mahomes, Texas Tech, farthest thing. Joe Burrow played in the pro. Actually, no. Joe Burrow just had everything you could imagine on that LSU team. That LSU team could probably go up against those old Miami teams. They'll still lose. But it just depends on the player. It just depends on the player. And if they got it, they got it. Faye says Dart was struggling crazy. He was out there seeing ghost. Brian Flores had him in a blender. Nobody's running away from that. But we got to call it what it is. Again, Brian Flores does that to veterans. It is what it is. Slayton is trash. I lost every last bit of faith that I had in Slayton. This was a big year for Slayton to prove people wrong, and he proved people right. It's over. I thought if he can get 75 targets, a couple of catches, and he can crack 1,000 yards, well, guess what? Man can't hold on to the ball. It is what it is. Hooks Rub, what's going on? Hooks Rub says, what's up, Dash and chat? Merry early Christmas to y'all. Thank you for reminding me. Again, I won't see you guys again until after Christmas. So if I don't say it at the end of the show, I won't be going on too much longer, probably another 15 minutes. Happy holidays to everybody. Some people, not everybody celebrates Christmas. So I'm going to say happy holidays. But then for the people that do celebrate Christmas, of course, Merry Christmas. I celebrate Christmas. So Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Happy New Year. I will be live next Saturday for Late Night Giants Talk. So I'll see you guys before the new year. But just want to say that in case I forget at the end of the show. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all you guys. Appreciate the love and support. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic holiday. And also, if I don't see you, some of you guys might not be here for next Saturday. Also, Happy New Year to you. That's it. Appreciate the love and support. Well, Hook said something else. Where'd it go? I thought it was. Can we please stop with the draft Mendoza talk? It's going to be they're cranking it up. It was on like a 50 last week. They cranking it all the way up to 100 this week. Hooks, it's over. You might as well not log in. You might as well stay off of Twitter, stay off of Instagram, turn off ESPN, turn off Fox Sports, because that's all they're gonna talk about. It's gonna be clip after clip after clip. And your boy Dash, what he gonna be doing? I'm trying to knock everything down on Twitter, via Twitter. I'm trying to shoot down all the comments and all of the BS. But again, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold these people off this week. They're going to run wild, and I'm probably going to lose this battle this week. Won't lose the war, though. LRP says, I did like the running of Tracy. He plays better when he is fed. That's true. He is a volume guy and gets into a groove, but I would have went more with some hooks and uppercuts. It appeared they just tried winning by jabbing yeah. That's a perfect analogy. They stuck to the jab. They try to jab the whole fight. That's it. Just jabs. And what happens? You lost. Jabs won't win you the fight. You got to throw. At some point in time, you got to throw a hook. You got to throw a overhand. You got to throw, a straight. And Mike Kafka was content in jabbing for the whole match. American Cheese said, I'm surprised the staff didn't run more passing plays for Tracy. They were successful. Forget that, respectfully. Why didn't we run any screens? From what I can remember, I remember clearly one screen pass. If we ran more than that, okay, cool. But we should have ran at least 7 screens today. That defense was so aggressive that he was sending people from everywhere. Why weren't there more screens being thrown? Use that aggressiveness against an aggressive defense. We saw the Vikings use our own aggressiveness against us. What was it? It was second quarter. I think it might have been second quarter. It might be third quarter. It was the matchup between, I think it was Oliver, the tight end from the Vikings, and Abdul Carter. And the way they set up the screenplay for the tight end screen was he was going to be blocking first and then act like he was releasing them. And he did just that. And as soon as he released them, Carter thought he had a free run at the quarterback, and J.J. McCarthy just threw an underhand screen pass to the tight end. Success. And I even put that in the tweet. Like, we need to steal that play. We should actually run that play against them today. But no, to my man LRP's point, we just like to throw jabs. We just like to throw jabs. Mendoza has done nothing. Now, I appreciate that, LRP. It said, all love Dash, grew to be one of many really, really good friends. Love what you built, bro. Now, I appreciate the love and support, man. For those that don't know, shout out to my man LRP, man. LRP and the Shakedown crew, Shakedown Media Network. Those guys actually made me comfortable with talking Giants to people. They had the podcast forever. They're on YouTube. But the first time I ever got a chance to really talk outside of tweeting and sending tweets and stuff like that, actually being able to talk Giants football in the podcast format was with my man LRP, Shakes, my man E, Black Freezy, all those guys over there, man. All those guys over there. So much love and respect, man. Much love and respect. Dart has a noodle arm. And you know what doesn't help is not having your feet set. You can not have the strongest arm and still be able to survive, but your mechanics got to be better. And we already knew that Dart didn't have the strongest arm. It's a lot of we knew that Shador Sanders didn't have the strongest arm. So when you got a guy that does not have the strongest arm, the mechanics got to be there. The mechanics got to be there, and we see that's where he's flawed. If I had anything to pick on when it comes to Jackson Dart, set your feet. Get your feet set. Stop trying to throw while you're backing up. Stop trying to throw while you're in the air. Stop trying to throw off of one foot. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes in order to make the play, you got to do that. But he does that too often. I got to be real. I won't call it a noodle arm. It's just not the strongest arm. But when you don't have the strongest arm and then you don't have the mechanics, or you're not what's the word? When you're not set in your mechanics, then it makes it look even worse. It makes it look even worse. That's why we saw today some passes sail. Some passes end up being short. But when he has time to set his feet like he did against with that pass that Darius Slayton dropped, it's a perfect pass. In stride, where it needs to be. Enough zip. It starts with your feet. Well, my man Xavier Anderson at, man. His son's a quarterback. He can tell you how much the feet matter for a quarterback. Now, some quarterbacks just got God's gift of an arm. And they don't have to have the best mechanics. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Guys like, and even Josh Allen had to mess with his mechanics, had to tweak his mechanics to become a better quarterback. But he still had a cannon of an arm. Jackson Dart doesn't have a cannon. So he needs to really decide how he wants to approach his offseason as far as getting his mechanics right and be disciplined. That's the word I was looking for. He has to be disciplined in his mechanics. And once he does that, you'll see a lot of those passes that sailed or were short will be right where they need to be, at the velocity that they need to be, with accuracy. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And if we want to talk about coaching matters, Cignetti for Indiana, yeah, coaching matters. Cignetti is a damn good coach and got it out the mud too. Got it out the mud. He finally made it to where he made it, and he took the Indiana Hoosiers to Ohio State and beat them. Was that a game in Ohio State or was it in Indiana? It doesn't matter. He beat Ohio State with Indiana. Life at full speed. What's going on, Jake Castell? He says, Dash Kafka has fully neutered Dart. Looks that way. It looks that way. I'm not going to lie. At a portion of this game, I said, if you're going to do this, you might as well throw Jameis Winston in there. I want to see something. I want to see if it's Kafka or if it's Dart. That's how bad it looked today, that I was even questioning it. I'm sitting here like, throw Jameis in there for a second. Let me see something. Let me see something. Pause. Throw Jameis in there and let me see. That's how I felt today. It was that bad that I had to second guess myself. Like, is it Dart? Is it? But no. Kafka. It's Kafka. And then we'll find out for sure next year on the new coaching. We'll see. We got some time to find out. But I'm damn sure not giving up on Jackson Dart for Mendoza. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. What it is, LRP says, I'll see y'all in the sports agent space. I have moved into a different space. Okay. It's just going to be Cashmere Life Sports coming soon. That's what's up. Anything that I can do to help support you in that endeavor, let me know. LRP, let me know. Let me know. Ryan says, Dart over Mendoza any day. We don't know what Mendoza is. That's it. We got more of an idea of what Dart is than we do Mendoza. And Mendoza has had some good games this year in college. But we haven't seen Mendoza against the Eagles and have success. We haven't seen Mendoza against the Broncos or the Chargers and have success. Actually, there's only a handful of games that Dart wasn't successful in. And they happen to be all of the games that Kafka was the head coach. Outside of Saints, Dart had turnovers against the Saints. But Dart has had success in the NFL against top competition. I'm not passing that up over Mendoza. I'm sorry. Not going to do that. Not going to do it. But, man, I've been talking for almost an hour and a half. Again, shout out to everybody for vibing with me. I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. I do want to watch some more football today. I still got some live parlays going. I think the Giants might have, and those were prop picks too. Giants did a doozy on me today as far as I needed Jackson Dart. I had him for like 225. He didn't come close. That killed two of my parlays. So it is what it is. I still got two alive right now. So I'm hoping that, at least I can get a little bit of money at the end of the day dealing with the New York Giants. So we'll see what happens. Get to a couple more before I get out of here. Bookend says if Dart flops, go quarterback the following year, but I think Dart will be good. I'm glad you said that. I'm so happy you said that. Insurance is a word that I'm looking for, right? So the New York Giants have the first overall pick still, right? We end the season with the first overall pick, right? Whatever package the New York Giants get from trading off of the number one pick this year, you're definitely going to get a number one next year. I would just assume that's going to be part of the deal. I'm going to just assume that you're getting. So imagine you have an entirely new season with a new head coach, new regime. And then you also have in 2027 2 first-round picks. If Jackson Dart does not look like the guy next year in 2026, you got all the insurance in the world in 2027. Right? Right. Let's not ruin it by taking Mendoza this year. Let's not do that. Because if you got 2 first-round picks in 2027, and you look at the draft class in 2027 of quarterbacks, possible quarterbacks coming out, you would probably say they're already better than what we got going on right now in 2026. So pump the brakes. If you're not a believer in Jackson Dart, give yourself the 2026 season too. And then if he proves to you that he is not the guy, the Giants will have possibly two first-round picks in 2027. Crisis averted. And then you could just move on. Shout out to Mr. Shade becoming a member. Welcome to the Big Blue Nation. Appreciate the love and support. So, again, with that being said, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hopefully everybody enjoys themselves over this week. Hopefully everybody enjoys their family. Hopefully everybody enjoys their friends, has a good meal, has a good, gets gifts and all the good things that come along with the holidays outside of gifts, his family and stuff like that. Hopefully everybody has a good experience. I will see you guys next Saturday for Late Night Giants Talk. And then, of course, live after the Raiders game. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to... Oh, wait. I think... Hold on. Did I miss a super chat? No, I got that one. I want to make sure. Sometimes people yell at me if I miss super chats. So let's start this thing again. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.